Hello, I'm Dr. Ross Tartell. I'm an executive coach with deep expertise and experience in leadership development and helping organizations succeed. The goal of my professional practice is to change the trajectory of people's lives. My years of practical and in-depth professional expertise enable me to help people make better decisions, become more successful in their work, and improve their personal lives. And I've made a difference with groups as diverse as disadvantaged teenagers and CEOs. There are three keys to my consulting success. First, my extensive expertise and the ability to connect with key stakeholders enables me to establish rapport and partnership with my clients. I can connect on a very personal level. A second area is through my capacity to coach and mentor. One of the greatest compliments I ever received came from a client who called me the ultimate mentor, coach, and leader. Last is the capacity to translate vision into reality. I teach at the graduate level at Columbia University, and I've worked for Pfizer, GE, and launched my own consulting firm. That history provides the perspective necessary to take a kernel of an idea and make it a successful reality. You're about to see an edited version of a Keynote presentation I delivered as part of a business case competition at the University of New Haven. As you will see, the setting for the presentation, the cafeteria, was not ideal. But the words and perspective I shared helped the students begin to envision the future trajectory of their lives. And I hope you enjoy the presentation. Thank you. Some of the things that you're learning from this program and that you talked about tonight are about how do you manage and lead in ways that make a difference so that you can change the trajectory of people's lives. In our field, what does it take to succeed? There's just a couple of things. The first is, many of you demonstrated it tonight. First thing is, you gotta know your stuff. You know, there's an old saying that, style trumps substance. Well, in our field, they find out really fast if you don't have the substance. So you've got to know your business, you got to know the strategies, you got to know the objectives, you have to know the leverage points for how that organization works so that you know where that critical point is, that if you push that, it'll change. And if you don't push it, you can keep the organization going. Use systems thinking. One of the questions you got from the judges tonight was around models. That's because that approach, the use of the model, the understanding of how an organization is a living organism and a system that's interdependent and needs to work as a whole, is one of the ways you ask the questions that give you the information to diagnose what's going on, so that when you stand up there and you have to provide a recommendation, you can tie it back. It's like a doctor. You go to the doctor, you don't want to hear everything, but you want to know that they've done their homework, they've done the test, they know what it's all about, so that when they say, you've got high blood pressure, you ought to take some medicine, you trust them. You all know the story about the five blind men and the elephant. There's five blind men, there's one elephant. Can blind men see? No, they cannot. So one's on the ear, one's on the side, one's on the tail, one's on the trunk, one's on the leg. What's the person on the tail say? The blind man on the tail. He says, feels like a rope. Person on the flank says, feels like a wall. Person on the leg says, feels like a tree trunk. Person on the snout, whatever. Trunk, thank you. Says, feels like a hose. The person on the ear says, feels like a sheet of paper. They're all wrong. But if they put their heads together and look at the entire system, they know it's an elephant. And that is one of the things you bring to the party that regular people don't. I think Frank Hurd said it best tonight when he says, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. You gotta have the passion. And so there's three things that you need to really pay attention to as you follow that passion. One is what your passion is. The second is what you're really good at, and knowing where you're strong and where you're not, and where you can improve and what you can learn. And then if you have the first two, you can figure out your hobby. You know what you need one more thing, right? What is that? A paycheck. You gotta be able to take your passion and your skills and find a job. The market has to pay you. And you trade off a little bit here and there, and you do all sorts of different things. But that's what's so critical. So you need that insight. What you're good at, stay away from plates. What you're passionate about, and what you're going to get paid for, and follow that through. I have one last message for you, and that's around engagement. Because I do a lot of work in employee engagement. I had a discussion with someone about what happens to your level of engagement if that company, that organization is not investing in you and helping you develop. It generally drops. And a lot of the literature around employee engagement says the company should do this, the company should do that, the company should do the other thing. And if the company doesn't do that, well, the employees are disengaged. Well, that's partially true. But we've all worked with people who get disengaged and some people who are all in. And my ask for you is when the company is treating you poorly, that's a retention issue for you. It should not be an engagement issue. You decide if you want to stay with this company or leave the company to find greener fields. But I ask that you always stay engaged, because each of you, and I saw each of you present tonight, have so much to give that you can make a difference in this world. But you can't do it unless you're engaged. And so you got to step up and you got to make a difference. So thank you. This was a fabulous night for me, and I really appreciated being here. Thank you.